Hello, everybody. Welcome to Monday, and I'm gonna give you my first impressions of Doom Eternal. It's fast. I tried playing it up. I play Doom keyboard and mouse. I tried playing it on gamepad for a bit, and if you happen to be playing on PC, do yourself a favor and play on keyboard and mouse. It's like a different game. But it's, speaking of game, before I get into it, if you like this sort of stuff, I will probably be wiped out on search engine optimization because everybody is covering this game who isn't playing Animal Crossing, and some people are playing both. So if you like this kind of content, help support, there you go, this channel, become a monthly patron, patreon.com/LeannaK. And now, the magic of video editing, ta-da, gameplay. It's fast. It's intense. It's intended for you to keep moving. You stand still, you get pretty wiped out, with a few notable exceptions. This is not a sniping game. The music is great. The keyboard controls are really good for the most part, provided you have a good keyboard. I'm gonna have to experiment with some of the additional buttons on the mouse. I've never used them before. Mouse 4, mouse 5, stuff like that. I think that'll make a few things for me easier once I kind of get the hang of it. These little buttons on the side of my mouse that I've used for nothing else. And it runs like a dream on my PC. I've pretty much, in my PC, got the recommended specs for the game. And the load screens are lightning fast. The one thing I do like about it, early going, like I said, I've only put about 4 hours in, but it does not let you move on to the next section until you've mastered a skill it wants you to use. You can't cheese it and go through without understanding what you're doing. And I really enjoyed that, because in too many games it's like, oh, here's this thing. What does it do? I have no idea, so I'm not going to use it. And then later on it becomes vitally important, and I was never forced to use it, so now I suck at it. So I really enjoy the fact that it makes you switch weapons a lot. Another thing where, man, a weapon wheel on a gamepad, not as good as just, whoop, mouse wheel, new weapon. The speed, the full intensity only comes out if you play with a keyboard and a mouse. And I guess that's a bit of a nod to the original way you played the game. There is definitely a lot of legacy so far in the game. I mean, it's an homage to the 80s, right down to you actually collecting records in the game. It is challenging. You can play on easy mode. I don't know how easy mode is, but normal mode is actually normal mode. It's not easy, but it's called normal to make people feel better. I find it kind of annoying that default setting for a lot of games is hard mode. Normal should give an average player, of which I consider myself, a decent amount of challenge. You should not be blowing through levels. I went through the first, I pulled off the first Slayer gate. Well, the first one that is obvious. I found one earlier on. I was like, what am I doing? Sorry, that was a time challenge, not a Slayer gate. But I found that one actually a good level of challenge. It wasn't difficult. The fight right before that, I hated it. And that was the one, it probably wouldn't have been as hard for me, you see me rubbing at my arms, were it not for that accessibility issue. The reason I tried to play it on gamepad was that my hands were dying, because it's like a 5-round fight. And it just goes on and on and on and on, which would be really cool and exciting and good challenge were it not for the fact that my hands were dying. And I finally got through it. Oh wow, my hands are actually getting swollen. But I finally got through it by finding a little place to briefly hide. My nose is running through adrenaline. finding a place to briefly hide, let my hand settle, and stop cramping, and then go back and do it. So if you are concerned about that, maybe skip it or just watch somebody else playing. If you have any issues with hand fatigue, I don't like, I suppose you can probably remap it, I don't like the fact that the glory kill, the punch, is on the right thumb. Like, you have to click it there. That's a lot of hand exhaustion. And when I sort of discovered that was the thing, I'm like, you know what? This is just a different kind of pain, and I went back to keyboard and mouse because it's so much better. Like, I have never played a game before, except for maybe Doom 2016, where it was that much better. And I'm very glad that I listened to some of you guys who are like, no, your PC should be fine, and bought it on PC, because, oh my god, keyboard and mouse for the win. And I have not had, normally when you buy a PC game, like day one at launch, it's janky, it's kind of glitchy, and we just kind of put up with that because PC Master Race. It's actually a game that was shipped ready to play. And I don't understand why, Tech made this game? I think it's it. But why the makers of Doom, the people who make Doom, managed to make such great games, and everything else from Bethesda is buggy shit at launch. Like, it's like there's the Doom games, and then there's everything else. I don't get it. I don't know why there's such a vast difference in quality game to game on Bethesda. But getting back to Doom, it's visual spectacle. It is an adrenaline rush. All that stuff about it actually causing your heart to race, like you actually shaking from adrenaline in places in the early going, it is true. You do settle in, but, you know, be prepared for that early on. It's so much faster than anything else I've played. Perhaps if I was playing on a gamepad, it wouldn't feel the same way. I will give one other accessibility note. I did find myself getting a little bit motion sick on some of the platforming sections, only a little bit. And it was only one thing. I didn't find it constantly, because there's these platforming sections where you have to like double jump and then go on like a bar, and all of a sudden like Doom guy is Lara Croft, and like then you have to dash and grab onto a wall, and not every platforming challenge makes me feel seasick. One did. I don't know what it was about that particular one. Maybe I'd just been playing too long, but that particular one did make me a little queasy. So, you know, if you have trouble with motion sickness in first-person games, you may have a bit of issue, because I don't tend to have those sorts of issues, and I did here, because it's just, there's so much going on, and it's so fast, and it's like, woo! But it is a lot of fun. It is, like I said, it is challenging. I think mainly because it's intended to be replayed multiple times, and so the game throws a lot at you, and it's been a while since I've played a Doom game, and it all slowly started coming back to me on, oh right, this is how you do this. You can't just camp on one gun and just do nothing but that one gun. Though sticky grenades are my favorite thing on the shotgun. Sticky grenades on the shotgun are my favorite attack in the whole game. But you're gonna run out of ammo, and not every enemy responds to that. It's almost like a rock, paper, scissors system where you have to match the right gun to the right enemy, so you're not dumping tons of ammo into it. But then as you go along, some of them, like, yeah, okay, there's an ideal way to take them out, but sometimes it's just not possible because there's too much going on. And that was the other thing I thought was interesting about the way this game is designed tactically, that doing it right is not as good as get her done. If you can get through a map, you got through a map. There's no such thing as cheesing fights. Though I did have what were those things called? Dread Knights. I did have one glitch, and he just kind of ran forever in the lava, but that still wasn't the time I beat that version. But that did happen, so it's not totally without glitches, but it isn't like glitchy to the point that it wrecks your enjoyment of the game. So play tips. One, like I said, keep moving. Move and shoot, move and shoot. Get into that. It wants you to get up close. The game wants you to get up close. It wants you to use those glory kills. It wants you to use those chainsaw things. But there is limited fuel to the chainsaw, so watch that. But you run out of ammo, you switch to another gun, you chainsaw some dudes, you get your ammo back. Just keep moving. The other thing I thought was amazing is do not give up. You can be down to like next to no health and you take out a couple of the smaller enemies and you are back in the game like nothing happened. It's gonna be crazy in tournaments because of that. The advantage in a match changes so rapidly. Like just a couple of smart plays, you're back in it. So don't just go, oh, forget it. I'm gonna have to reload. Keep fighting, because it's amazing how you go from like no health to 70% health, like nothing. It also is worth going through and reading the codex entries on the various characters and demons and things like that, just because there's a lot of really cool lore that okay, I don't care very much about in Doom. I play Doom to shooty shoot. I don't really care about what happened to the Earth and why demons took it over and all that stuff. That being said, I did enjoy reading the codex entries on some of the characters just to get more background, which isn't essential for me to know, but I actually did find very interesting. It's really cool optional content. The other thing is explore. There are lots of cool secrets. If you see something green on the map, whether it be a 1-up, yeah, they actually call it 1-ups, retro, whether it be like full armor, anything like that, find a way to get it. It helps so much. They are game changers in certain matches. The game wants you to explore, because also those exploration bits, it gives you time to level out before the next crazy like gunfight of time, space, and death. And I really like that, because in the early going of the game where it's so intense, I was like, oh wow, if it is all this is gonna get old fast. And fortunately it isn't all that. It does give you lulls in it where you're doing other things, where there are optional battles and all that stuff, which is really good, because that level of intensity, that level of adrenaline, like seriously, I was actually feeling a little short of breath. It's that much adrenaline in places. And I was like, oh God, coronavirus. And I'm like, wait, stupid. How about you take a few deep breaths and see if it's not just like video games. I'm sure there will be some critique from the usual suspects about this game. They go out of their way to show that the things you are killing are evil and bad, and that there's nothing wrong with killing them. That's what you're supposed to be doing. That is your job. So I wouldn't worry over much about that. Haters gonna hate. And there's no way that that particular group of critics is going to even finish the game, I think, because of how intense the combat is. I think they will sample it for a few hours and then go, yeah, I think I get the idea. But no, you don't get the idea. Like I said, I'm only 4 hours in, but I'm already seeing increased nuance. compared to the very early levels that are intended to like hook you in and go, yeah, this is awesome. So far, the story is, I think, better than Dune 2016. And again, I don't care about the story of this game. But it's a nice extra. It just shows that they cared very much about creating a satisfying, complete experience for the player. I may completely eat my words on that one as I get further into the game, but so far I'm really enjoying it. And like I said, it's already setting up the fact that it's intended to be played over and over and over again. So even if it ends up being on the shorter side, I don't mind so much. I don't know how long it's supposed to be, but even if it is sort of shorter, it's intended to be replayed and find all the extras and like, you know, get all the hidden things and all that stuff. So it's quite an achievement in terms of first-person shooter gameplay. You know, first-person shooters are a genre that has gotten a little tired. They were everywhere for a while, and now they kind of backed off. Doom was the game that basically, you know, before they were called first-person shooters, they were called Doom clones. And so for this IP, you know, for this brand to come back and show there's still life in the old girl is very exciting. But I think they have also, it's just so tight. It's just such a joy to play on keyboard and mouse. You can just tell they play-tested this and play-tested this and play-tested this so that it was smooth. Fast and smooth, and that is hard to do because to be that tactical when everything is going on that fast, that's a freaking achievement. I have, quite honest to God, no idea how they managed it. It is a marvel. You know, this is what happens when studios embrace the fact that they do one thing and they do it very well, and this is all they're gonna do. They're not gonna go and do something outside their wheelhouse. They're just gonna refine the thing they do exceptionally well. That's sort of the lesson of Doom Eternal. You know, it doesn't reinvent the wheel because it is still a first-person shooter with all the things you'd expect from a first-person shooter, but it finds some, it's not that it finds new tricks. It finds elegant ways to combine them and allow you to use them. And it gives you a whole bunch of weapons very, very fast and a whole bunch of skills and a ton of power, but you don't feel powerful. A lot of the time you are running for your fucking life. So, very cool. Very cool. It's quite an achievement 4 hours in. You know, the core mechanics of the game as opposed to the complete package. I can't speak to the complete package yet because I haven't finished it, but the core mechanics of this game are the tightest I've encountered in a while. And that's amazing. So, if you like this sort of stuff, again, help support this channel, become a monthly patron, patreon.com/LeannaK. Thanks for watching.